So to any young person watching me, I know I'm not perfect. I know I've made a few headlines, some good, some bad. But please stand up and stand firm behind anything that you believe in. Unless you're a Democrat, then you just. Why are you mad at Trump and you're not holding your city council accountable? Look at your neighborhood. Come on now.
Oh my goodness, it's like music to my ears, man. I say this stuff all the time, and I feel like people they think I'm the only one talking like this. I mean,
but we are the very same people that say, "Oh, I'm hardcore Democrat." You've never been to a city council meeting. You've never been to a school board meeting. You've never been to your county commissioners meeting. You have your phone in your hand all day. You've never typed in Congress.gov to see what your representative is voting on. But you don't even know who represents you. So who would you even be looking for? It's pure ignorance. We shouldn't be talking about gender studies before we talk about financial literacy. We shouldn't have any trans kids. There's no such thing. I embrace all young people to stand to the front lines. And I hate to be ageist, but it is time to remove all of these old people. We need to go ahead and get the job. And I just seen Trump's address to Roll Tide. Now, I'm an LSU fan all the way, all day, Baton Rouge. But if you go back and you actually listen to what he said to those kids, that's everything that I needed to hear during my first year running for Congress.
Rest assured, your vote is your voice, even if it is a whisper.
All right, welcome to the show, Peyton. I'm so excited to talk to you. I mean, I think we were having a good conversation before the camera started. I was like, man, we got to get this on camera. So can you tell us a little bit about you, Peyton? Because initially I thought that you grew up in Fort Worth, Texas, and you were born and raised there and went to school there, but obviously that wasn't your path.
But once I began to pay attention to policy, everything changed. Once I paid attention to who's voting on what and how at the city council level, at the school board level, at the county commissioner level, and typing in Congress.gov to see what my representative is doing in Congress, I was like, wait a minute, I'm conservative. It's one of the things that we need to change in our education system is how we talk about sex ed to the future of America to promote traditional families.
100,000%. I think that when I was growing up, they mostly encourage you. Well, they didn't encourage you to do it, but they didn't dissuade you from doing it. They didn't tell you the side effects of the emotional aspect of having children out of wedlock. I can't see any aspect of my upbringing that would align with anything that Democrats are doing today. Yet, and still, I think the belief is that we are Democrats. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to support you, because I'm like, we need some people in office that can give us a fair, balanced representation. Not all of us are Democrats. Not all of us are leftists or are believing in this foolery.
But so in the Black community, we have two ways of thinking. We have ignorant, which is just a lack of knowledge or understanding. And that's fair. We all can be educated. I don't know everything. I never claim to know everything. But we also have the population that resembles ignorance. I mean, you don't want to know. We have ignorant and we have ignorance. The second option, the latter, you don't want to know. You're not willing to be educated.
They think you and I are sellouts, but at the end of the day, we really care about the Black community. We see the future in the Black community. We see that the Black community can do better.
I need the donations, but I'm not bought and sold. So I'm going door to door. I want to have that conversation with you. What would you like to see change in your neighborhood? If you could make any law, what would it be? But the number one thing on my list, no tax on income. Number one. Now, we already have a bill out. It's HR 25. I either want to tweak that one or make my own. But the next person that asks me, when was America ever great? Just because they hate when Trump or Trumpers say, make America great again, I'm going to say when we stood up to taxes. The fact that we are taxing income, knowing that our federal minimum wage is $7.25 is just insane. The fact that we're taxing property, yet we claim that we have a housing crisis or a rental crisis is just insane. The Second Amendment, I am a proud open carrier in the state of Texas.
I see you on your pictures. You got that gun on your hip every time you're walking around.
Always, especially in Fort Worth. I was not against the dismantling of the U.S. Department of Education. I think we've wasted a lot of time. But what I want to introduce is a more trades promoted route. We need to be talking about trades instead of college. I mean, I have an accounting degree. It's on the wall, but that's the most that I've done with it. And honestly, I didn't need the accounting degree. I could have either gotten that in high school, or someone in the public school system should have handed me the Rich Dad Poor Dad series, and I would have been okay. We need to push more trades instead of these overpriced universities. I was reading a book called Back of the Hiring Line that was given to me, and it introduced me to the history and the effects of mass immigration on the Black community. And that's where I found out about the 1991 letter from Mrs. King that she sent to Congress, where in that letter, and in comparison to what Trump said at the debate with Harris, basically went bar for bar when it comes to Black and brown jobs. How could you possibly say that people running over our border into our country coming to work for $2 in comparison to our $7 doesn't have an effect on Black jobs? And our community may not be able to say, oh, I don't know what a Black job is, but it's not just Black jobs. It's Black education, it's Black housing, it's Black resources. Now, in Tarrant County, we're dealing with an issue, or I'm not dealing with it, but the Democrats are dealing with an issue where the conservatives are trying to redraw our map for the county level. I don't care about that, because Democrats will promote an open border, and what they won't say is that's their own form of voter suppression. When you have neighborhoods like South Poly that used to be predominantly Black, and we had a whole bunch of people coming through, all of these developers coming through as the highest bidder. And in the Black community, we don't practice estate planning. We don't know anything about trust funds. None of our assets, if any, are protected. We lose assets within 2 generations. So now neighborhoods like South Poly are majority Hispanic, but that Hispanic community can't even vote. So neighborhoods like that get ignored. So while we aren't talking about things like that, in addition to them drawing the maps, is just counterproductive. But we, in the majority in the Black community, we don't do enough research. We go off of emotions and memes.
Yeah, you couldn't say it better. I didn't think I ever meet nobody say it better than me, but you couldn't have said any better than that. I mean, that immigration thing was a big deal.
Or let a celebrity tell you who to vote for and then turn around and say, my vote is my voice. No, it is not.
Yeah, your vote is their voice. That's what it is. I'm really inspired by you, because it's hard to see, or not hard to see, but it's not a lot of people that are willing to be genuine. Now, if I were to sum it up and say, everybody that I know that live in Fort Worth, Crowley, like that whole metro area, they would love to be represented by somebody like you, because you get it. You understand. You're not a politician doing talking points, simping for the Democrats. Like, you understand South Poly. When I went to school, Poly was Black. It was a little bit more Mexican than the other places, but Poly was Black. Polytechnic, we whooped them every year in football, but they were Black. All the Fort Worth schools were Black. We are allowing our communities to get diluted. We are allowing them to influx a whole bunch of low-skilled workers into areas where mostly Black people had those jobs: construction, plumbing, landscaping, working at the convenience stores, working at some of the mom and pops. Now it's completely changed, and we're voting to eradicate our vote and voice.
An illegal immigrant can come here and purchase property. You broke into the country, but you can legally purchase property. Meanwhile, someone in my neighborhood has to pass a background check to rent an apartment. Make it make sense. So, like I said, it's not just Black jobs, it's Black education, it's Black housing, it's Black resources. When people come into this country illegally, they're not going into gated communities. But until we do the research, the proper research within the Black community, and I mean all of the history, not just Black history, we won't know that. We won't. But the saying goes, if you want to hide something from a Black person, put it in a book. But the thing is, we are well beyond the information age. We have a device called phones that we can pick up at any time. But instead of you dissecting and researching Kendrick Lamar's lyrics, maybe we should be researching something that's going to actually change our way of life, or at least our mindset, whether that's in general or at least politically.
But at some point, people need to do their job and get out of there. There's no reason for these politicians to be in there for 40, 50 years. I think Nancy Pelosi been there since the civil rights movement. Most black people in America are conservative. I just think we don't realize it. Like, because I grew up.
No, we realize it. We don't want to admit it. We don't want to admit it, especially if we're talking about the elders in the black community. They don't believe, especially in all of this gay agenda that's being pushed to our kids. They don't agree with that. I think the majority of Black America, we are conservative. We just refuse to admit it because of whatever the Republican Party did to us. Are you idolizing a political party over your personal and faith values? That's just counterproductive. A piece of my vision includes taking field trips down to the family courthouse. You need to be introduced into reality because it's not just STDs. But we also need to talk about soul ties and making a premature decision with someone who you are not locked in with. So we talk about breaking generational curses all the time. But two generational curses that I don't see us working towards is a political one. We are hardcore Democrat, especially the demographic that claims to be the most educated with all of these degrees. They vote the most ignorantly. But it's also what we experience in our culture, what we see in our neighborhoods. Like you mentioned earlier, I know very few men and women in the Black community that have a two-parent household. I'm actually surprised that they do. You grew up with mom and dad? That's a shocker to me. And until we decide to break that, nothing will change. But
at least you're keeping it real. But no, I appreciate you, Peyton. I'm very inspired by you. Hopefully I get to know you more as the time go along. I definitely want to support you in any way that I can because I do believe in the next generation. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen, Peyton Jackson. And we want her to be the next congressional leader for the 33rd district. She has to be. We need her to get elected. God bless you, and thank you for coming on the show.